blindsiding. I didn't want to blindside the board on something that I'm looking at doing. That's all the things I have, Mr. Chairman. Is there any questions for me?
Okay, hearing none. Thank you,
Thank you.
Michael. All right, do we have any public comment?
Not at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, reports, National Honor Society Library Project update.
I have some good news. National Honor Society is actually putting on their dodgeball tournament, so Mrs. Hussey couldn't make it, and so, but they have, I think it's 54 books have been purchased off of Amazon through their program. If you remember, I think they set their goal at 30, and I told them that they were undershooting, they'll have well over 50. They're currently at 54 new titles being brought into the library, and they come in the mail, so there'll be a package in the mail tomorrow morning, and there'll be books. So I think it's still growing strong, and I wouldn't doubt if we reach 100 by the end of this school year. They would like to come maybe in June, Candy, or maybe July, to talk about their culminating year and how everything went. They still have 2 big more events, and so they'd like to do a report either at the June meeting, which is maybe too close to graduation, so maybe the July meeting.
Nice. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, building principal report.
I can roll since I'm on.
Okay.
Are you okay with that, Ms. Warner? I'm kind of jealous because I can see that Mr. Rose and I are still in our offices and you are at home.
That is correct, Mr. Trenton.
So anyways, board report, job openings. I'm in the final stages of the hiring process for both the Ag FFA advisor position and the English language arts position. I should be able to close those 2 up, I hope, by Friday. I still have current openings in the library manager, family consumer science teacher, biology teacher, and special ed teacher. I sent out a huge list of family consumer science schools this week and made 6 personal contacts. So I'm hoping that schools that have SES programs. So I'm hoping that I get a child ed buzz here real soon. Enrollment. Lakeview High School is currently at 205 students with 25 additional Lakeview Academies. So the breakdown is 66 and 4 for freshmen, 46 and 5 for sophomores, 47 and 9 for juniors, and 46 and 7 for seniors. DMS is currently at 109 in person, 15 at Lakeview Academy, 58 and 7 for the 7th graders, and 51 and 8 for the 8th graders. Testing. After today, we are in the mop-up stage, and that's a direct quote from Mrs. Counts in the testing process here at Lakeview High School and Dayton Middle School. We just need to get a few of the extended time students finished up and then catch up with some of the quarantine students. My hat's off to Mrs. Counts and also my special ed staff that are doing the extended time testing. Graduation update, our ceremony, we're still on track for June 5th at Honker Court. Each graduate will receive 8 tickets. We worked on the ticket design today. It's gonna look pretty cool, and we're gonna have a third of the ticket or a quarter of the ticket be perforated so that they can pre-fill out the contact tracing. So they'll write their name and phone number, so it'll be pre-filled out, so then when they walk in the door, they'll have the ticket. We'll tear off the perforated part, throw it in a bucket, they'll go inside, and then that way that'll allow us to give the information to Lake County Public Health, just in case we may have something that I don't really want to talk about. Knock on wood. Is there any board members besides Mr. Schulenberger that would like to be on the stage during the situation? Because I know Mr. Schulenberger is up there, but I didn't know if there was someone up there that would like to possibly shake hands or hug a graduate. Ms. Price.
It doesn't matter. I'm getting to the point where I'm not coping with the fact that I'm a senior, so.
Corey, I think you should have to do the welcome and everything.
I think you should.
You think?
Yeah.
You can do Jerry.
Dustin did
I'm
it.
normally the parent's turn.
It'd be nice for me to take a year off.
I did it my first year and no one up there. It was,
Yeah, I can do that.
Tag, you're it.
Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Schillenberger, you are not gonna be on the stage or in the program, but your name is on all the diplomas.
Or I can be there with you, Corey. However you want to do it.
That's what you've done in the past, Barry.
I've done that with Dustin in the past. We did it together.
Sure.
Okay, I'll be there.
Okay, so then I'm gonna put on the program awarding of diplomas, will be a combination of myself, Superintendent Carter, and Board Member Price and Board Member Schillenberger.
Go.
Okay. Thank you. We are doing a parade. The parade is set for Friday, June 4th in the evening, and it will be just that. It will be a parade. We will not announce kids' names or nothing. We're gonna line up down there on South 3rd Street, and we'll have a parade route to be determined, and the kiddos will go on the parade. I think that's a tradition we're gonna keep alive, so I'm pretty excited about that. And I just pulled the trigger on that, so it's not public information till just now. So parade route and time to be determined. June 4th, Friday evening parade. Senior events, we still are gonna have some regular senior events. We combined a couple luncheons, and so the Rotary will do a luncheon for all seniors. We have senior mother's lunch. There is a baccalaureate. We are doing a senior picnic. And there'll be father's breakfast.
Are they gonna do that?
I'd like to give a shout out to GK Sound Booth. They have come to the school and they have refinished or in the process of refinishing all of our outdoor picnic tables. So they've taken the picnic tables off the track and football field and they redid the metal and the wood. They planed the lumber and repainted it. And they're also doing the picnic tables that are in the commons area. So thank you to Mike McGowan and his crew at GK Sound Booth. Last week, 4 students from the LHS Honor Society served at the Elks Mother's Day brunch. The Elks and the guests were so impressed with our students' service that they passed the hat around and the donated proceeds went to the high school Honor Society, particularly the Noni Vandenberg Scholarship Fund. The kids got a nice pocket of money. So thank you to our kids and good job representing our school. And just to let the board members know that we are short on substitute teachers. With COVID, activities, personal school events, we are short 2 to 3 teachers on a daily basis. This means we have teachers covering during the prep. A shout out to those teachers that do that without us begging. They do a phenomenal job. We've had a few teachers have to double up on classes. And then Mr. Rose and I have also covered a couple classes here and there. It's been pretty hectic and there's no rhyme or reason due to it. It's just we've had a few staff members that have been quarantined. We don't have as many subs this year we've had in the past. And then we've also increased our school activities and personal activities. And then the last piece here is just, in summary, I wanted to give you guys just a snapshot. In the last 4 months at Lakeview High School and high schools all around the state of Oregon, we've used everything from a shoehorn to a funnel to get a whole year's worth of activities, sports, and events in. This is already always the busiest time of year with activities, field trips, budget, hiring, evaluations, testings, graduation, and discipline. Our discipline always spikes in the spring. It always has. You add to this the stress of the uncertain times we're currently in, and it is amazing how well we're doing here at Lakeview High School. I ask that everyone understands the amount of work that Mr. Rose and his support staff have and continue to do in order to make this year look as normal as possible. I truly don't know if anyone realizes the amount of time and effort that ADs and anyone associated with high school activities, which would include transportation, referees, groundskeepers, bus drivers, has been putting in the spring. It has been a circus trying to keep up with what's going, and it's been taxing. And so my hat's off to the athletic directors who have kept Oregon sports up and going. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Mrs. Warner?
Okay, elementary is also busy with lots of different activities. I do agree with Mr. Stratton, subs have been a challenge for us lately with some of our uptick in COVID and other things. So we've all been doing our best to cover what we needed to cover. At the elementary school, we just completed our last sessions of professional development in phonics, K through 3 with the consultant Julie Walker from Ben. And then Janice Heigl was here last week, paid for from our House Bill 3499 grant to work on some math consulting. She also spent some time with us advising us on summer school programs. She's done it quite a bit, kind of gave us an idea of the scope and sequence and how to screen for what those kids know right now, and the 4 big things in remediation for math that we can hit this summer, kind of give us a gauge of about how much we can expect to get done with math with kids in the summertime. She will be coming back the very first part of summer programs to help some of our teachers kind of figure out what their summer curriculum will look like as well. We are working through SBAC, Smarter Balance, and Easy CBM testing. We do all of that during this time, so we call it testing season in the elementary school because we have benchmarks for spring. And Easy CBM include 3 different reading tests and a math test, and then we also have Smarter Balance on top of that. I'd like to thank the board, Mr. Carter, and all the people that were involved in being able to prepare Chromebooks for us and get that 1-to-1 or real close to that at the elementary school as well as the high school. It has made testing season a whole lot easier when we're not sharing computer cards and pushing them up and down the hallways and trying to schedule the time for the cards with the kids. It's been a way easier testing season. The union has started an after-school gardening club. They haven't utilized the greenhouse quite as much as they'd like to. So today was their first after-school gardening club session, and then they will have another one on the 26th. At Union, the gravel area is all done, and the Parents Club are ordering Tonka trucks for the kids. The next Parent Club meeting for West Side Parents Club is May 17th. Kindergarten Roundup is May 13th and 20th. We'll be running 4 sessions, 2 each date, so that we can do small sessions, social distance, and disinfect in between those. So they start at 4 and 5 respectively. On May 20th, we'll also be doing 6th grade orientation. Our 6th graders will be visiting DMS with Mr. Stratton and Mr. Rose up there to get oriented a little bit as to what that looks like and how to open lockers, what their classes might look like. May 26th through June 2nd, we complete the Easy CBM testing, and then what we do is we plan what students are going to be in what interventions for next year so we can kind of hit the ground running. We'll take their test scores and we'll put them in groups, whether they need phonics instruction or they need reading fluency or they need vocabulary work. We will put those students all in groups so they can start interventions the very first week of school next year. June 2nd is the 4th grade fishing derby, which we have done for years up at Open Chain. Tony Longacre is usually the person that designs that and puts all the community partners together. Tony's adamant that the 5th graders this year did not get to do this because of COVID last year. So then on June 3rd, the 5th graders will go for the fishing derby so they won't have missed out. June 8th, we'll be doing bike day for K through 2. They bring their bikes and practice bike safety. Shout out to Les Schwab. They usually spend all day there with the truck filling up bike tires and making repairs as needed. They're kind of our pit crew. June 9th, the 1st graders will be going on a field trip. And June 10th, the 2nd graders will be going on a field trip. June 10th, we will have a year-end awards assembly out at Union. And then June 11th, we will do awards all day long at Hay during their specialist PE and music time to keep those cohorts intact. And then going into summer programs, June 17th and 18th will be in service for elementary teachers so they can start summer programs on June 21st. We are working on getting our hiring as far as we can right now. We've hired a couple elementary teachers. I have some feelers out for some more. We are hiring for the union cook and custodian position. Kind of would like to see what the budget does in the next couple of weeks, what our projection comes in at. We have approximately 120 students at the elementary level signed up for summer school already. And also, we've hired quite a few paraprofessionals to help through the summer with summer school. That's about all I have for you guys this evening. Do you have any questions?
I do not. I don't see anything. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The fun final days.
Yeah.
Ice cream and everything, yeah.
Field trips.
The weather's cooperating.
We could use the rain though. Okay, Mr. Rose.
Okay, we're in the process of talking with families, kind of gathering some data for numbers for next year for the academy. As far as collecting data on that one, doing a real good job as she rolls through state testing. Her and Ms. Counts are, like Lane said, down to that small handful there. We have a couple kiddos that we've had some difficulty reaching to coordinate with, and one high school student that is working slowly but surely. For next year, we need to make some decisions on what that might look like with students. I think a big part of the numbers is going to depend on how schools are going to look across the state next year, and what the decisions are when those decisions are made, you know, what kind of health conditions we have as we see things change, and maybe even, you know, looking at health mandates and what people are going to feel comfortable with for next year. So all those play a role in that enrollment for next year. But the options continue to be the same. The concurrent licenses where we are the teacher, Ms. Farr manages all the classes and does the grading, or the instructional services, which is that kind of full service Cadillac model. And then there's, of course, the option of the blending. And so we do have a handful of students that are in the blended situation where they have some with Ingenuity teachers and some with Ms. Farr monitoring their work and doing that grading. Lane, I think you had mentioned the plant sale, is that right? We ended up changing that date. Did we get that out there? I can't remember.
Yes.
Plant sales 21st and 22nd.
There we go. So we're excited about that one. One exciting thing that I got to do this week, in fact, it was today, was make a home visit. And lo and behold, it was actually a home whose door I had knocked on many times last spring during the closure, but it was so nice just to go out with Brandy and sit down and speak with the family. It brought back some good memories actually from this time last year, and being able to spend some time in people's homes. And as Lane said, it's been pretty hectic still with athletics. We have the culminating week, which is kind of the final hurrah for spring sports next week. And that is all put on by schools, districts, and ADs, whoever can get something together. OSAA has not, they've stepped back and have not managed anything like that this year. Big reason is because it would almost be inequitable if it were organized at the state level, because so many schools don't have the same number of games or opportunities that places like Lakeview do. So that said, I'm on a team working hard to put together something for baseball and softball, which is kind of a tournament. And that's still in the works, but I appreciate Janet. She pulls her hair out every day when I call her, because she's like, now what do you need? And it's another game, it's another change. There was a change today. I got a call from out of town. And so hats off to Janet for working, and our bus drivers. I got to tell you, all of this, like Lane said, all this is crammed into, when was our first game? Like December. And so we're going to June 26th, and our first game for football was February the 27th. So 4 months, right? So that's half a regular school year, and it's all crammed in there. So it's been pretty crazy. With luncheons coming up, we do have some luncheons here appearing pretty soon, and that's an opportunity for our kiddos to get out there, be with family, be with community groups such as Rotary. And I've never had to plan spring luncheons around basketball and wrestling, or vice versa. And so it's building some skills there, moving wrestling practice, for example, to DMS gym. So we can use the gym floor for graduation that week, and then moving it back down so we can have wrestling and basketball did start this week on the athletic front, and they have competitions next week already. And like I said, they go to June 26th. So it's working into the summer, and I'm very curious what that's going to look like once school is out. Number one, once graduation passes on the 5th, and when school's out on the 11th, what our athletic teams and those of other schools will be able to maintain 2 weeks in the summer. So, any questions?
I know that our baseball and softball teams are doing excellent. And,
They are. They're doing well, and I know both of them are really strong this year and have hoped for some more competition within league or special district rather, and it just really hasn't happened. Sometimes there's that flux, but we have been able to get a couple of out of district games, which has been nice.
do you foresee both teams getting into the next week's tournament?
Yes, at this time, yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, any other questions for Mr. Rose? Okay, Mrs. Chavez, Special Ed report.
Good evening. Last week, we had 10 staff that attended a mental health first aid training for 2 evenings in the Lakeview High School cafeteria. It's an 8-hour course teaching how to support a person while you wait for help. It also shows signs to look for of people in distress. The focus is on your own safety first, so they really talk a lot about the safety of people that have been through this training. They talked a lot about and did some training around, mental health disorders, and really focused on how that the person for help is either going to be your police or a mental health professional that can do an assessment, make a decision to take a person to a hospital. Heidi Martinez from Lake District Hospital Wellness Center provided the training, and we have a lot of members that are really interested, a lot of staff that are really interested in the training, but it was hard for a spring training. So next year, we're going to offer it again in the fall and in the spring, and Heidi Martinez is on board for that. Do you guys have any questions on that?
Okay. Anything else? Thank you. Okay, financial report. Moses.
Good evening, and yes, Chris, I am pulling my hair out, and I just, what the heck? Anyway, so I've gotten through, the end of March, and our total month-to-date revenues are $728,500, favorable in that we've not collected as much as we had projected, which, that goes with some territory. Month to date, it's $781,000 under plan, which that's a favorable situation of about almost $93,000. So we're doing well there, keeping our costs down, even though we are not collecting as many revenues as we normally would project at this point. Year to date, our revenues $8,575,000, more than our annual budget compared to our 79% prior year to date. We've started collecting on those ESSER funds and the GEER funds. Excuse me. The first round of ESSER we have totally exhausted. The GEER we have exhausted those funds as well. That's a total of about $9,000 that we've been able to collect. We've had expenses to accommodate. We do have a second round of ESSER funds, which is about $737,000. However, we went back through and we darn near have that spent as well, just with extra staff and custodial staff and various things that qualify under that. Some of it will carry over into the summer in the with the summer school situation and going into. So I just wanted to bring that a little bit to a highlight there. Those federal funds have kind of basically bailed us out this year. So moving on into your revenue pieces and a little bit more breakdown. Like I said, actual revenues year to date, 85%. We're at 91%, just a tick below what we would normally do at 97%, which is all of our taxes. And then our state sources, we're at 82%, which is right on. I did get our reconciliation for 1920, which either is usually a takeaway or is they owe us money. They actually do owe us money, which is a good thing. But it's only about $28,000 that they owe us. And so we will get that in the May statement this week, or at the end of this week with our regular monthly. Now this will be our paycheck, if you will, from state school fund until July. So June will look coming into June. Moving on over to the expenditures. Year to date, our expenditures are $6,558,000, or about 56% of the annual budget compared to 63% prior year. So we're under the plan. Salaries and associated payroll costs, that's where we see it for the most part. Salaries at 69%, and we projected at 66%. Which I've been saying we've expected that with the hiring of a lot more staff that we've needed to make this work. Other objects, which is all of our consumables, durables, purchase supplies, that sort of thing, we're at 48% when we projected to be at 54%. So we've had that discussion before as well. So I think we're sitting okay there. Moving on to our month-end fund balance for that general fund, probably ending the year around $800,000. Now we did get some federal forest fees in the month of April, at the end of April, which was to the tune of about $300,000. Actually going to help our ending picture because I wasn't expecting it when we did the budget. So so that actually helps our ending fund balance. Is there any questions?
No questions.
We good? Okay.
All right. Thank you, Janet. Okay, do we have any old business? Okay, new business instructional calendar.
Mr. Chairman, we have one calendar this year that's changed for the four we had in the past per year. We had some feedback and, some of the things there, and I know the board has heard that as well. So we have a proposal there, but I think there's probably some people want to change some things.
I'd like to make a motion myself, and if the board would like to second it, that'd be great. What I want to do is I want to take a few days off of Christmas break, and so that we don't have to go that third week into June. So I move to approve the 2021-2022 instructional calendar with the following edits to be made. Winter break dates will be December 23rd through January 3rd. Last day for students will be June 9th, and last day for staff will be June 10th.
I like that idea, I would second.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. Okay, so I think this will be pretty popular. We found out in the past that solid 2 weeks for Christmas break plus weekends is a long time, and we've heard complaints about that in the past from parents that's a long time for Christmas break, and then it also allows us to not have to be in school that third week of June. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the 21-22 instructional calendar with following edits of winter break being December 23rd through January 3rd, and last day for students June 9th, Last day for staff, June 10th. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And then Barry, one thing, just for everybody's knowledge, the 2 boxes towards the bottom of the calendar, now that we have this in place, we can get those numbers all tallied up and fixed and put in there.
Can everybody hear Tandy? Okay. Okay, so if you have your board packet and you're looking at the instructional calendar, at the bottom it shows attendance days. They will do those tallies and calculations and get those out to everybody as soon as they can. Okay? That way we're meeting the criteria for meeting the minimum number of days or the allowable number of days to be qualified as a school year. All right, thanks everybody. Okay. Student club proposal. Mr. Stratton.
Just in front of you, you should have a proposal for the Pokemon Club in your packet. There's an advisor, there's interest, and then once you guys give the approval, they'll put together their bylaws and get that to you.
Okay. Do you have a motion?
I move to approve the student club proposal, Pokemon Club this season. Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the student club proposal for the Pokemon Club as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of approving the student club proposal for the Pokemon Club as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay.
Thank you.
You bet. Good proposal. Next up is approval of the tax rate.
Okay, so we approved the budget by our budget committee that took place on our very first budget meeting. However, we do need to have a motion to approve the tax rate, which you can see is 4.5724 per thousand of assessed value for 21-22.
Janet, what's the change in that from last year?
There is no change, but we have to do a tax rate annually.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So I move to approve the tax rate for the fiscal year 2021, 2022 in the amount of $4,572 per 1,000 value as
Okay, just to be clear, Annie, it's 4.5724.
4.57 per 1,000 value as.
Okay.
Sorry, I just have to get closer to my computer screen.
That was
I'll second that.
it was a point, not a comma. Yeah. Okay. All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the tax rate for the fiscal year 2021-22 in the amount of $4.5724 per $1,000 of assessed value as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Vehicle purchase.
Okay, so we have been able to work with BLM and the Forest Service in regards to the program that we've done in the past that we unfortunately had to skip last year. We also have OICC funds to run alongside the BLM and Forest Service to run 2 work crews, and so we are in need of a couple of pickups in order to get them out to the work site. So I've been working with Stacy Hobble at the Forest Service, and they have some that they have. You have all the details there in the memo, and to me it looks like a pretty good deal. We would spend $6,900 on one, and 700, almost 7,400 on the other. Only have about 79,000 and 77,000. Might be a good purchase.
Great person.
So I move to approve the purchase of 2 vehicles as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the purchase of 2 vehicles as presented. Any further discussion?
No.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Resolution number 11.
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna take that. That's just the bonding resolution that we have to do to say that we're gonna go forward. We're still haven't committed the district entirely, but if we don't do this, we can't use the actuary to go back and do our numbers for us. So we will be spending money with the actuary, but this is the one that can get us to move forward and the time that bonding occurs at when we get there.
I move to approve resolution number 11, the 2021 OED pension as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 11, the 2021 OED pension as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. All right, consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Aye.
Okay. Announcements.
None at this time.
Next board meeting agenda items.
We have a communication requirement, all the contracts we hope to have by that time, and also a facilities plan.
Probably a few new hires too, I bet.
We hope to have a-
Okay. We're looking for a motion to adjourn. Oh, unless somebody has
I
something.
move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Before we adjourn, Janet, did you have something?
Oh, I just wanted to make sure y'all knew that we would be doing adopting the budget at that meeting also.
Okay, awesome, thank you. So we have a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, meeting is adjourned.